Good evening and welcome aboard to another race on the Sony Cup Series calendar in 2018. We're here at Richmond for the second time this season. Richmond has played host to a 200-lap race for the second time for this year. Last time we were here, Jordan Davis dominated this race, leading 199 of the 200 laps. In the last 5 races, Jordan Davis has finished outside the top 10 in every single one of those races. So Davis has not been hot as of recent. But a driver that has been very hot on the racetrack, making some great finishes in the last couple of weeks, Jake Bassinger. 5 of the last 6 races, he's finished in the top 2. So Bassinger is on a really big of a hot streak. He's came from 130 points back to 88 points, trailing teammate Jesse Turner in the championship. Turner, another great qualifying run for him. He'll start second this evening. Dom Capps, he's going to start a ways down the order. He's going to have to come from the rear, but it's not something he isn't used to. Capps had to start the rear last time we were here, and he fought his way to a top 3 finish. Can we see Capps do that again? He's going to really need to do something if he wants to win the championship to make up ground on Jesse Turner. But this was also the first race all year since the Daytona 500 back on round 10, when Jesse Turner finished outside the top 10 for the first time in a long while. He had a tire issue, had to come to pit road, finished in 15th. Turner cannot afford to have a bad race like that again. Nick Mace, Jake Bassinger have been eating into the gap, trying to chase him down in the point standings. Jake Bassinger is relatively back in the title mix with 9 races to go, 8 after this one. Bassinger still in this, Nick Mace still in this, and Dom Capps very well in the hunt and in the mix. Even though all of them are over a race, some of them even over 2 races back, it is still anyone's game. Let's go down to start the race. Rolling off on the order, as we're going to take a good look at this one driver. Chris Dodd is back in a race car for the first time since his injury at Road America, and what a drive by this guy. Chris Dodd getting back in the 15 Ford and in the top 5 in qualifying. An outstanding run for Dodd. Gonna have to see how he does this evening. Jake Bassinger, Jesse Turner, Turner Performance Cars will lead us down 200 laps, and we're racing for Richmond. And on the jump, Chris Dodd, really good jump on the start. He moves into 3rd from 4th. Bassinger looks like he's going to lead the first lap. Off turn 4, Bassinger will lead him to the line. But that really good jump for Chris Dodd on the start was very short-lived. Sean Harple got after him in turn 3 and 4, scooted him up out of the groove. DJ Curtis followed him through, and Dejon Weeks, who has also been very hot recently, performing very, very well. Bassinger and Dejon Weeks have been probably the best drivers on the grid every weekend. Look at this move by Nick Mace, taking it 3 wide. Sean Harple on the bottom ran very well last time we were here at Richmond. Got a 6th place finish last time we were here. And Nick Mace squeezes up the middle. Matthew Arrigo's underneath of Dejon Weeks, a battle to get into the top 5. But up towards the front, it is all Bassinger. Looking deep in the pack, battling for 30th. Dom Capps has not really been making his way up the order as fast as I thought he would be. He started in the 30s, but I figured he'd be ways up the order from the way he was last time we were here. Capps is into the top 30. We're coming to lap 10. Some drivers that are also struggling in the back of the field. Stephen Jenkins and Cody Lamas down the order and not running very well. They're outside the top 30. We're hearing there's an issue with Kyle Collins. The Blue Flare Toyota slow on the racetrack. Car is trying to slide and avoid. Matt DeLeo slams into him. We're hearing that also Hayden Klein did a slide through the grass. Also did Nick Piericles. DeLeo looks like he may have a flat tire from this, and Kyle Collins' day is going to be done. Up towards the front, Jesse Turner has gotten pretty close to Jake Bassinger. A pass for the lead is bound to happen. Jesse Turner been hounding him, looking for a way to get by him. Further back there, you see Kyle Collins. He has returned to the racetrack, trying to get as much points as possible. He is in a battle with owner points to try and get in a better position for owner points for next year. Looking deeper in the pack, looks like Levi Pasco is holding on to a top 10 run right now. Pasco's had a very miserable, lackluster season. He's in the top 20 in points. but he has not had solid runs in the top 10 like he had hoped for at the start of the season. Looking deeper on down in the order, you see that Bobby Jones is in the top 15, having a good run for Hero Motorsports, who had both of their cars finish lower than 33rd last time we were here, so it's a good turnaround to see Bobby Jones right now 14th and in a position to really take the Rookie of the Race honors. Chris Dodd's down to 15th. Zachary Fitzwater having a terrific run right now, trying to get into the top 15. Looking underneath of Chris Dodd, who seems like he's in a qualifying setup, because in a long run, he's really dropping down the order. A major swing of adjustments is going to have to be done to this 6 car for Dom Capps. It's just not going to happen today. It's not going to happen today if they can't get that car adjusted right. He's already lost a couple of positions. I believe he's down to 30th again. And that car just is not handling for him. He's complaining of a very loose race car, a push loose, and that car is just not handling for him. Jenkins struggling with his handling of his race car. Hoffman much the same. And Cody Lamas also complaining of the same issues. Deep down the order are some of the top contenders we're used to seeing in the top half of the grid. Going to highlight one of the drivers we talked about on the pre-show. Before on the grid, Jordan Davis, we talked about him, how he has only had his last top 10 came at Michigan for round 22, so it's been about 5 races now since Jordan Davis has had a top 10, and even before that, Davis had been struggling for a while. For a guy that dominated this race back in the early part of the season, led every lap but one due to pit stops, this has got to be a struggle for Jordan Davis, and Davis has been very outspoken in the way how he's been very disappointed with the Mace Enterprises performance this year, despite the 2 wins this season. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is heating up. Jesse Turner on his teammate of Jake Bassinger. Hayden Klein, who took a dive down into the grass to try and avoid a spinning Kyle Collins in the early going. Surprising there was no yellow flag from that. But Jesse Turner takes the lead for the first time this evening, gets some bonus points for leading that lap. And Turner is your new race leader. Further back in the midfield, there's some good hard racing back here. Look at William Brock. Get a little tail happy, trying to get on the gas on the back straightaway, trying to get around Lynn, but couldn't get around him. This battle we're looking is the Rookie of the Race battle. Casey Lester got the point at Phoenix and moved a step closer to the Rookie of the Year standings, trying to take the point lead away. Bobby Jones has not been adding up as much as he would like. He tried to get one here at Richmond. He's going to have to get it back from Casey Lester. Lap 60 of the race. Closing in on pit stops. We're only going to have one pit stop tonight if we do not get a caution flag. And Dom Capps is really going to have to make some big adjustments on this pit stop. They're going to have to really work on this car and make a good swing at it, because Capps has only been able to work his way up to 25th, and right now this would be a bad enough night to kick him down to 3rd or possibly 4th in the championship, because it's that bad of a run. Outside of the top 20, you're not even in the top half of the grid right now, and Capps' team really fumbling the ball here at Richmond. Battle for the 4th position brewing. DJ Curtis has it. Had a good qualifying run for him to get in Q3 again. And he's door-to-door with Nick Mace. Mace won at Phoenix. Had a lot of momentum on his side. Many people considered him possibly the favorite coming in this race weekend, considering his own race cars just basically dominated this race at the beginning of the year. And Nick Mace has not been able to get up to the lead, but he's slowly getting there, just past DJ Curtis. Problems for Jake Bassinger. Bassinger went on the apron just a little bit. Comes back right up in front of Matthew Rodriguez. Not sure if he got turned down there. We're going to have to get a replay real quick. Bassinger, we caught a glimpse of him, and he was down in the grass. No, here it is. Bassinger heads off into 3 and 4. I think he thought he was having a tire go down. And yeah, look at that. I don't know what was going on with Jake Bassinger, but really, really loose in 3 and 4 and almost caused a collision with Luis Hernandez. I'm just going to assume that that was worn tires and that he just completely, nearly lost his race car. I mean, that car stepped out so badly. He was fishtailing it so bad. He is still out there getting after it, trying to catch up to DJ Curtis. Sean Harple, well, I got to give a tip of the hat to Sean Harple, who has ran very, very well in the last couple of weeks and has stepped up to the plate in the 25 car. He is in the top 5, however, Nick Mace just got around him. That was for the second position after Jake Bassinger bobbled so hard in 3 and 4. Lost second, down to 5th, and Nick Mace is into second. Lap 90 of the race, 110 laps to go. Can Dom Capps make anything of this race? He's close to getting lapped at this point. He needs a caution or a really good pit stop to really adjust on his race car. We've seen it happen many a times with Jesse Turner. Can it happen to Dom Capps? Can he recover from this? He is in the top 20 now with 110 laps to go. One driver who has really been working his way up the order, who really struggled in the first start of the race, Cody Lamas, he's in the top 15 now. 14th, the Horizon Group cars of William Brock and Casey Lester have been picking their way through some race cars. They're sitting 12th and 13th. And Luis Hernandez, another week in a row, tragedy for the Ford team, an engine failure, and he is out of this race. Problems for Jordan Fisher. His engine has expired as well. So some engines are letting go right here at the very halfway mark of this race. Hernandez and Fisher out. I believe Chris Dodd, last time we were here, had a great qualifying run similar to what he had for this race weekend, and he got shuffled very, very far back by the end of the race. He is 26 now. So Dodd has really struggled. We're just past halfway. Jesse Turner closing in on Dom Capps, who has now fell to 21st. Capps is really struggling to try and make up ground in the championship. Let's run through the order real quick. Jesse Turner is first, over Nick Mason second. Sean Harple, good run for him in third. Curtis in fourth. Bassinger fifth. Rodriguez sitting there in sixth. 7th place is Ryan Acosta. 8th is Dejon Weeks. 9th position's Ryan Griffin. 10th is Carson Scott. 11th, Levi Pasco. 12th position is the Horizon Group car, and his teammate right behind him, Lester and Brock. 14th, Cody Lamas. 15th, Charles Sanford. 16th, Jeffrey Fenguy. 17th, Charlie Smith. 18th position's Jeffrey Lynn. 19th, Caleb Hoffman. 20th is Jordan Davis. 21st, Dom Capps. And the last car on the lead lap, Eric Burton in 22nd. They are very close to getting lapped by Jesse Turner, and they are also very close to pit stops. The leader, Jesse Turner, is on pit road. Some of the first leaders to come to pit road. Nick Mace is on the apron. Did he miss pit road? Nick Mace is in the grass. Possibly missed pit road. Gonna have to go around. Gonna take a look at Nick Mace here. Looks as though he tried to slow for pit road and completely missed the entrance to pit road, and he's got to go around. Tough break for Nick Mace. Man, Capps and Mace can't win for losing. Nick Mace finally makes it to pit road, but he has lost a tremendous amount of time. He was looking like the fastest car on the racetrack up until that point. Dejon Weeks has stayed out a little bit longer to get some laps led to his name and get some bonus points. Casey Lester the same way, stayed out to try and get a lap led, and he does. Lester gets a lap led. Trouble, turn 3, Kyle Collins is around. It's been spun around backwards. Dom Capps trying to do evasive action. Jesse Turner's around. Got spun off the back bumper. Jesse Turner's also involved. Dom Capps is there. Dom Capps is spun. Jesse Turner is spun. There was a collision in turn 3. Oh boy, this could be bad here. Car is trying to check up. Looks as though everyone's going to check up okay. But there was a collision in turn 3 and 4 that involved the point leader, Jesse Turner. First of all, we got to go further back. Young exiting pit road. Collins looks like he was going to make a dive to pit road or just got flat ran over by Dylan Young. Looks kind of like that, but we're going to look for... Oh, Lynn and Turner just completely lost it. And Turner doesn't look like he actually hit the wall that much. And maybe from the oil that Luis Hernandez laid down, that's what they were maybe spinning on the apron for when they tried to miss it. On board, Jesse Turner. There's the collision. Dives to the apron and just flat loses it. Just hits the exact same thing Jeffrey Lynn hit. And around he went. But luckily for him, he really didn't get any damage. There's even more cars on the apron that spun out because of it as well. Eric Burton Jake Bassinger also spun around, but they kept it going. Some more collisions back further in there. Dylan Schwellenberg, Zayden Davidson also had a piece of this. Nick Mace getting around on the outside. No further incidents, it looks like. Well, due to that caution flag, Turner actually spun from the provisional lead that he was in. Matthew Rodriguez, Harpel, Griffin, Curtis slid by and overtook Turner. So Rodriguez now finds himself in the lead. Dom Capps, even if he would not have spun there, he would have gotten back on the lead lap and would have been just fine. But him spinning as well has put him in a position he's got to race his teammate to get back on the lead lap, and he does. Some cars slipping and sliding, trying to get after it. Nick Mace further back, like we documented, missed pit road. He lines up in 11th. He's going to have to make his way through a big pack of race cars, lap down cars, and lead lap cars. Curtis trying to go up the middle on James Shelley. Jake Bassinger trying to rebound after a mishap from himself, getting very loose. Curtis with an aggressive move up the middle on a... Whoa, boy. That could end up bad. But Curtis gonna dig hard up the middle. What a drive by Curtis. Doing all he can on the outside. Bassinger trying to rebound. Turner is up to 4th. Griffin there in 3rd. Harpel sitting there in 2nd with an opportunity to win his first Sony Cup Series race. Rodriguez eyeing a 4th win of the season. This pack of cars are racing very wild. Hayden Klein shoving Ryan Acosta up the racetrack. That was a very aggressive move there. 3 wide. John Arndt on the bottom is a lap down, probably 2 laps down to be exact. Dejon Weeks trying to dig hard up the middle. Nick Mace looking for some running room on the bottom. Levi Pasco's into the top 10. Weeks giving it his all. Acosta not giving up. Lester trying to break into the top 10. Nick Mace trying to get underneath the lap car of John Arndt, who is in 30th position. Nearly some contact there by the 15 and 48. Further up ahead, looking up here, DJ Curtis has dropped to 6th. Bassinger's in 5th. No change up top with the leaders. But further up, Don Capps in a position if a caution were to come out. He is on the lead lap. Battle for the 4th position. Jake Bassinger underneath of Jesse Turner. Turner slides back a position. Jake Bassinger was really good in the opening laps, but lost the lead to Jesse Turner. Got very, very sideways and lost a lot of ground. Does Bassinger have any shot to get back up here? Top 6 are really right here in the mix of this for the win. Ryan Griffin looking for a way to get underneath of Sean Harpel. He's in 2nd. Harpel is. Rodriguez holding a comfortable lead for now. Bassinger isn't stopping there. Underneath of Ryan Griffin. Bassinger's been on a hot streak as of late. Remember at this talk of the hour. Bassinger, 5 of the last 6 races. He's finished in the top 2. Could possibly do that here. Looked as though he had an issue when he had a very big dance off turn 4. And Bassinger, here he is, looking underneath of Sean Harpel. Jake Bassinger. Man, is he on a roll. And he's trying to cut into any gap he can on Jesse Turner. Even though it's not looking like it's going to be a whole lot, it's going to be something. And Bassinger moves into 2nd. Here comes Jake Bassinger to the inside of Matthew Rodriguez. Bassinger is looking for what would be his 5th win of the season to tie Dom Capps for the most wins this season. And to the inside of Matthew Rodriguez, off turn 4, Bassinger is going to take the lead. A big move by Ryan Acosta to the inside of Nick Mace. Battle for 7th. Nick Mace going to lose out on a position, and the 45 Dodge is up a position. Battle here for the 4th position. Jesse Turner underneath of Sean Harpel. Harpel has ran a fantastic race all evening. He's been in the top 5 ever since the get-go. He qualified there and he stayed there. And relatively quiet night, but he is challenged for the lead, and he's ran super, super strong. Give Harpel a lot of credit. Very good race for him. We're hearing that Ryan Griffin isn't too pleased with his teammate Matthew Rodriguez right now. He's been trying really hard to get around him, and Griffin thinks he has a car capable of getting up there and racing Jake Bassinger, but time is running out. Bassinger is checking out, and we're less than 50 to go. Teammates racing for second, and possibly not going to have a shot at winning if they continue to race for that second position. Caps got stuck a lap down, but he made great adjustments to the race car. The team did great job on the pit stop to get that car driving well. And he's passing some cars back on the lead lap. He drove all the way back up there to him, but he's still in danger of going a lap down to Jake Bassinger. He's driving with all his might and trying to keep the 97 back, and Bassinger getting held up by James Shelley a little bit there. Shelley, who is racing Charles Sanford. That is shocking to me. Sanford's got to have an issue. Looks as though he's got damage to the front bumper, so that's possibly why Sanford's off the pace. And in 35th to be exact, so Sanford is pretty slow. But Bassinger still looks like the favorite for this win. Charlie Smith has had a very quiet evening. Coming to 30 to go, and Smith has worked his way into the top 10 on his pass on Casey Lester. Here comes a pass for second. Ryan Griffin finally getting to the inside of his teammate Matthew Rodriguez. He has been working on him for about 15 laps, and Griffin finally into second. Look at Sean Harple getting back down underneath of the 17 of Jesse Turner. Turner is also under fire from DJ Curtis. DJ Curtis, I don't believe he had a top 5 at Phoenix. And if he hasn't, he has not had a top 5 in a while. This would be a big deal for DJ Curtis to get into the top 5 because he has had a very lackluster second half of the season. And he moves past Jesse Turner, pushing him down to 6th. Jake Bassinger has caught Dom Caps, but Caps, with 12 laps to go, is hoping for a yellow to keep him on the lead lap and get into contention. But even then, he is passing race cars. He went up to 17th, looking for 16th on Bobby Jones. Carson Scott's there in 15th, trying to click off as much as he can. Every point is going to matter. Jake Bassinger trying to get to him to put him a lap down just in case a caution does come out to keep him from gaining ground on him. But Jake Bassinger, what a drive he's done. He's got about a 4-second lead on Ryan Griffin. Jesse Turner is working on his 20th top 10 this season, and if he can pass Curtis and stay in the top 5, this will also be his 10th top 5 of the entire season. If he can finish there, he'll have 10 top 5 finishes and 20 top 10 finishes. So Turner has had a stellar year in terms of performance. Less than 10 to go. Jake Bassinger off turn 4. It'll be 2 laps to go for Jake Bassinger. All the talk the last couple of months have been about his teammate and boss of Jesse Turner and his quest in the championship for a second title. Well, everyone may look at Jake Bassinger as possibly a number 2 driver in the Turner Performance Camp, but with the white flag out and Bassinger eyeing a 5th win this season, you may want to shift that focus over to Jake Bassinger. It'll be the 6th time in 7 races Bassinger's finished 1-2, and it'll be the 5th time this season Bassinger's taken home the win to tie that man in front of him, Dom Caps, for the most wins this season. As he comes across the line now, Bassinger takes the win at Richmond. A fantastic drive by the Georgia native of Jake Bassinger to get it done on the short track here in Virginia. Jake Bassinger. He is a 5th win this season. His 12th career victory. And you possibly got to consider him as a title contender coming down the final 8 races. It'll be 8 to go after this race. Bassinger was the only one in the top 4 in the championship that closed in on Jesse Turner in the point standings this race. And what a drive. The pole sitter gets it done. How about that for Jake Bassinger? He bobbled and weaved and got super sideways. People thought he had a problem. He got back on the wheel and recovered to victory lane. Congratulations to Jake Bassinger on his 5th win this season. That is a big accomplishment and one win away from the history books to tie Eugene Max for the most wins all time in a single season. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after round 28.